Hey there, I'm Isaac Muller, a proud Palawa and Wiradjuri man coming to you from Wiradjuri country, Hillsville, Victoria. The ABC's Heywire competition has been running for over 25 years, amplifying the voices of young Australians from regional, remote and rural Australia. I'm honoured to be continuing the storytelling tradition that's taken place on this land for over 80,000 years. Today, we're going to hear from this year's Heywire winners. They're from outside the big cities and have important stories to tell. First up, we've got Zach. He's on Barkindji country in Wentworth, New South Wales. Let's go.
It's just better out here. Better breeze, better view. It makes me feel free. My mob is Barkindji, river people. We're on Barkindji land. This is a special place to me, as I have a lot of buried ancestors out here. And most of my family comes from out here. I'm out on men's business with my dad. He teaches me about culture. We trek for animals, go hunting, visit sacred places, and then we go dance. I think about how someone my age was also learning about this way back in time. Like me, they would have had a totem, a protector, or spirit animal. My totem is the Heywire, the wedge-tailed eagle. I love watching them soaring above. Maybe that's why I like being up in high places. My dad and uncles and I believe that whenever you dance, there are spirits watching. When I'm dancing, I want to make them proud and do it right. The aura that comes up from the ground, the earth, is like a shield over me. When I'm dancing in a group, I think about the Heywire, soaring together in the sky. It feels good. When you finish dancing, you can almost feel the spirits are happy with you. You get a good vibe, a good feeling. One day, I'll pass this on to my kids.
Cricket's a big deal in my family. Everyone gets involved. Our backyard cricket games are legendary. I'm the best, no competition.
Oi, I don't think so.
When I first played cricket in primary school, I instantly connected to it. 8 years on, and now I'm playing for Gold Cricket Club.
1, 2, 3, golly!
Today is our final game of the year, and we're aiming for a win. I love batting and hitting the ball in the gaps in the field, and obviously making runs. I worked hard, played multiple grades, and now I'm being noticed by selectors. But it wasn't easy getting here. When I started competing, there was no team for girls, so I had to play with the boys. It was hard. I felt excluded and I wasn't getting the same opportunities. They didn't think I was good enough. But I am. Mum wasn't happy about it, so she decided to create a social comp to bring young girls into cricket. It started with a few girls, then grew big enough to play in leagues. That's when we finally started getting noticed by state selectors. Hey Mum. Mum drives me thousands of kilometres and does so much to get me to competitions. We're heading back from Melbourne, where I just trained with the Victorian countryside team. I'm so proud. But I also know there's more work to do to help girls like me who live in the country. I'm going to go as far as I can, but most of all, I want to help other girls get here too.
I'm from Wyndham, a small town in the Kimberley. Some kids might think you get bored in a place like this, but yeah, I've got all the space to do what I love the most.
I'm getting nervous.
I was really like the quiet kid growing up. It's pretty hard like just to talk because I was kind of like shame. When I was like around 11, my older cousin brother, he showed me some beats, metal, groove metal. I knew from that moment I got a handle on my first beat that I knew I was going to be a drummer. The feeling when you're in the zone, doing a solo, all the other noise around me just melts away and it's just you and the rhythm. I just really looked up YouTube videos, different drummers, just looking at different techniques. As my drumming improved, I got more like confident and more focused about what I wanted to do. I realized that it's not about being the best, it's about like just trying your best,
I come from a family of blockies. Blockies are people who own irrigated land and grow fruit. My great-grandfather was a soldier settler in Redcliffs, and he started growing grapes. Now, I help Dad on the block. We grow wine grapes. I spray the vines, do the pruning, slashing, weeding, and drive the bin trailer at harvest. I know everything that's needed for harvest time. That 22.9, Dad? It's good to go. Normally we start harvesting in January, but because of the constant rain, we're harvesting much later. When we harvest, the grapes go into bins, then they get carted to the winery, and from there they get crushed and turned into wine. Our grapes are used in Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Shiraz, Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc, just to name a few. When I'm not working on the grapes, you'll find me working on my pride and joy, a 1982 HJ47 Land Cruiser. I taught myself how to restore it, and it'll be ready for when I finally get my licence. In the meantime, I've got my motorbike. I practice on the block all the time and get plenty of tricks in. Seeing a harvest through to the finish is such a great feeling. Knowing we saw the crops through the wild weather, disease and pests, it makes me proud. I know heaps about farming. In fact, I probably know enough to start up my own block. It may not be for everyone, but it's everything to me.
Out here, if you travel by foot and find somewhere to be still for a while, a melody of bird songs emerges. It's comforting to know that I'm back in the Mallee. When I first came to Cowpram Station on a school camp, I was blown away by the beauty of the place. I'd never seen the untouched Mallee. I knew I had to find a way to make this my life. After expressing my interest, some would say nagging, I was lucky enough to join up as a trainee. Now, I'm the youngest in the team of Indigenous rangers and help the ecologists managing the station. Together we run tours, education programs and gather data to find solutions for healing the land. We use a lot of traditional knowledge to manage the environment. Right now, I'm learning about the plants needed for dam rehabilitation from Ranger Jeremy.
We've chosen to put them in a swale site where the soil is a lot more hardier.
It's important because it stops erosion and helps with the regeneration of degraded sites. I've always felt a deep connection with the outback. I spent a lot of time outside as a kid. When times were tough, nature was always there. Nature is tangible, you can walk up to it and touch it. Which is why it's so important that we protect it. I thought I would study genetic science, but now I want to be on the ground as a field technician. I want to be in the Mallee, seeing the changes we're making in real time. I'm going to keep using my hands and the knowledge I've gained to help restore land across this nation.
When you search Birchup, Victoria on the internet, you see old photos, local buildings and shots of varying quality of our town mascot, the Mallee bull. It doesn't make Birchup look appealing. Growing up in this town of 700, there's footy in the winter and cricket or tennis in the summer. And when I'm not playing, I've got free time to look around. It's breathtaking. Beautiful sunsets over the lake with paddocks in the background. But I felt like no one outside of Birchup was seeing its beauty. In grade 6, I was asked to make a video to showcase Birchup's incredible landscapes. I used the school drone to show the town from a different angle. I loved it so much. On my 12th birthday, my uncle gave me his old camera. I'd shoot all the time. After years of practice, I started sharing my photos on social media. And I don't just get likes online.
Great job on the harvest photos that I've been looking at. Fantastic. Keep it up.
Now I volunteer to take photos for sporting clubs and local farmers. When something's happening, people trust me to document it, which is an honour because I want to be a journalist. Birchup is beautiful, and I'm going to keep taking photos of my town and sharing them. Until one day, when you search for Birchup, it'll look as amazing to people online as it does to me. And I've worked out the best angle for the Mallee bull, which is right here.
I've lived my whole life in Bombala. We're in the high country in the Kosciuszko foothills. Bombala's known for our wool industry.
I don't knit or crochet, I wouldn't know how. I'm a rouseabout.
A rouseabout works with shearers, keeping their board clean and sorting wool. When I first started the job, I was so nervous. There's a lot to learn and you need to be quick. But the crew helped me get the hang of things. I mainly work with Bob's crew.
Bob's done almost 50 years of contracting.
Everyone respects Bob. We start at 7:30 and finish at 5. We'll shear hundreds of sheep a day. I like what I do, and to like your job, well, I reckon that's a good thing. But it's hard fitting work around school. The classroom feels like a different world to the sheds. It can be hard to balance, but I'm glad I've got both. I haven't worked out what I'm doing after school yet. Most people become shearers after being rouseabouts, but shearing's not for me. All I know is that right now, being in the sheds, being with the crew, being a rouseabout, well, that's me.
That sure beats my high school job work in the kebab shop. Awesome work, Annie. If you're a young person living in regional, remote or rural Australia and have a story to share just like Annie, now's your chance to tell it like it is. Entries are now open, so what are you waiting for? Enter at abc.net.au/Heywire in any format, including written, video, photo and audio. Winners will have their stories featured on the ABC and win a trip to the annual Heywire Regional Youth Summit held in Canberra. Now let's head to Wadandi country, Bunbury, Western Australia, where we meet Draven.
I've been hooked on boxing my whole life. Right now I'm in training with my physio, but it's always been my dream to be part of a club. I love everything about boxing. The opening bell, the deep thudding sound of a well-landed punch, and the wild cheers of the crowd. But for me, it's not enough just to be a spectator. My aim is to get in the ring. I have something called cerebral palsy. I can walk, but only for short distances. I can't stand for long, so I use a wheelchair. Wheelchair boxing is a sport, but it's not well known. When I went to a local boxing club, I was ready to train. They set me up with a boxing bag and walked away. I didn't return, but I'm not one to back down. Welcome to Draven's Knockout Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Draven Woods, and today we are going to be talking about... So, I started a podcast where I talk with competitive boxers. The podcast is small now, but I've got big hopes for it. I want to raise the profile for wheelchair boxing and find others to compete with. It's not part of the Paralympics yet, but when it is, I hope to represent Australia. And I found a new club to help me train. I've travelled 2 hours just to find the right venue. They accept me for who I am. I'm so excited to train with Danny Green today. It feels good to train with a pro and get the blood pumping. Muhammad Ali put boxing on the map. I want to do the same for wheelchair boxing.
I have played soccer since I was a young boy in Rwanda. Then my family came to Australia in 2019 for a better life. My first day at school was tough. I couldn't speak English. It was hard to make friends until I started to play soccer. I would watch the other kids saying, "Pass the ball," and learn English by hearing them play. People noticed that I had talent for goalkeeping, so I tried out for a Meridura team. The coach was so impressed, he asked me to play for the more senior team. I realized that the kids were bigger than me. It was scary. I was worried that I was going to get injured and I couldn't save the shots. I didn't want to let my team down. My brother noticed that I was struggling, so we trained every day. He told me to go in the net, face the ball. Wherever the ball goes, that's where you go. I'd save a few shots, but he pushed me to do better, to overcome my fear. It all paid off. Now the kids at school and my coaches fight to get me on their team. It makes me so happy because I can see my brother and my team are proud of me. Since my first day at school, I've changed so much. I was so frustrated that I couldn't read or write or make friends. But now I can. When people don't understand what you're going through, it can be tough. And now I'm here in a soccer field in Mildura telling you my story. I'm dreaming big and I want to go as far as I can.
Some say within culture that Aboriginality is like coffee. No matter how much milk you pour in, it's still coffee. Unlike those who came before me, my life is not dictated by how I look. It has only ever been non-Indigenous people who tell me I don't look Aboriginal enough. My ancestor is Fanny Cochrane-Smith. Her full name was Frances, meaning free one. She was denied a name from our culture as a part of the assimilation policy. Our names sounded too foreign for the colonisers on their new, conquered land. They said Fanny's skin was too olive for her to be Aboriginal. They couldn't determine who her father was. Their inconclusiveness denied Fanny her culture and her childhood. She was taken from her mother and taught to be a maid at a school for orphans. Only 50 years after the arrival of the First Fleet, she was one of only 47 surviving Palawa people. But Fanny fought hard to keep her culture alive. She continued to practice Palawa traditions and taught them to her children, providing us with the mosaics that we're still piecing together today. She performed traditional songs and dances until white settlers held concerts in her honour. They began to listen to her and appreciate the culture they tried to erase. Her voice, her language, her songs were immortalised on wax cylinders. They're the only documented record we have of Palawa language before 1900. Her songs still play every day at the Tasmanian Museum. Stolen generations later, I am here in her place. My skin is so light, it illuminates the afflictions of her past. It has been passed down through my mum's family that it is your blood that makes you strong. I'm a proud Palawa woman from Nipaluna, Lutruwita, a proud Tasmanian Aboriginal woman.
Saya tinggal di Pulau Cocos. Cocos bagian Australia di Lautan India, paling dekat di Indonesia daripada Australia. Saya tinggal di Home Island dan bicara bahasa Cocos. Semua orang-orang di Cocos kita kenal. Saya suka bau makanan orang masak di kampung kalau ada angin dari laut. Pinggir laut semuanya cantik-cantik di sini. Tapi saya suka di rumah aja. Dari lahir, saya ada penyakit yang dipanggil osteogenesis imperfecta. Artinya tulang saya boleh pecah ke kaca. Tulang saya dah patah lebih dari 150 kali, mas saya tak boleh berdiri. Yang sudah, saya bersem, iga saya patah. Dah lama saya tak bersem baik-baik. Yang saya sekolah dulu, kalau semua anak-anak pergi main sport, saya selalu di dalam menulis, buat inai, mau belajar pakai makeup. Itu bantu saya jadi orang tukang makeup. Saya suka bantu orang biar dorang rasa cantik. apa aja yang saya mampu buat. Saya rasa cantik, kuat, maka kalau saya boleh buat barang sendiri, pergi di tempat lain sendiri. Tapi kadang-kadang susah per saya pergi keliling pakai kursi roda saya di kokos. Saya tulis surat sama CEO konsul, minta dorang buatkan jalan pak kursi roda saya. Habisnya dorang buatkan ramp di muka rumah satu, di belakang satu. Sekarang di rumah saya boleh buat barang sendiri. Tapi saya mau lihat tempat lain yang saya boleh pergi. Saya mau senang tinggal di kokos ke orang lain. Saya mau bantu orang dan masyarakat saya yang saya sayang. Tulang saya kuat, tapi saya kuat.
I love being with mob on country, Barkindji country. It rained not long ago. You could smell it in the air. This means the emus started mating. My mob's been coming here forever. Today, we have 4 generations here. You can still see where my great-grandmother used to cook emu eggs. Now, Nen's passing down the culture to me.
When you see lots coming and going tracks, you know that not far away is that nest.
Back in the days, our mob would hunt and eat emus. Now we protect them and only collect eggs.
Make sure you got your walkie-talkies on, got your backpack, and let's do this one. Let's get these eggs. Come on, we got this one.
We get real competitive scouting for tracks.
I'm not far away from you. Any tracks?
Fresh tracks here?
You feel on top of the world when you find the eggs.
We got it, quick, we got it.
We use a stick to rake the eggs out of the nest. We always leave an egg behind.
We got it! Yes! Oh.
We take the stick far away as it has our scent on it. When we get back to the camp, it's time to celebrate. One egg feeds the whole mob. The rest of the eggs are taken home. First, we blow the yolk out. I've been doing this since I was a kid. We draw an outline, then we carve in the art. We also pen our stories. It takes a week to complete. I haven't painted one yet. I want to make sure that I'm ready. The eggs get passed down through generations. I love looking at them, holding it in my hand, and thinking about the stories. It gives me strength. I'm proud to be part of the oldest living culture on Earth.
I hope you've enjoyed the stories from this year's Heywire competition. Young people telling it their way. If you want to check out more of the Heywire stories, you can head to abc.net.au/Heywire, ABC iView, or the ABC Listen app. And if you know a young person with a story to tell, encourage them to enter the Heywire competition. I'm Isaac. See you next time.